Hello everybody and welcome back. So today we're talking about the consolidation and maintenance of power, use of legal methods. Now just as a refresher, consolidation is the action or process of combining several things into a single, more effective or coherent whole. So it's the bringing of all the power that's across Germany under the Nazi Party and under Hitler specifically. The second component is maintenance, the process of maintaining or preserving something or someone. Essentially, how Hitler, now that he consolidated all his power, how is he going to hold on to it? How is he going to keep it? Today, we're talking about the legal methods, which is the way and manner of doing things related to law society. So how did Hitler legally get his power and keep his power, right? Legal methods consolidation means to get the power. Legal methods maintenance means to keep the power. The first thing we're going to be going over today is the Reichstag Fire, then the Enabling Act, and the Gleichling Tongue. Each of these three is a build-up upon each other on just how quickly and how rapidly Hitler scaled and the Nazi Party scaled to get their power. So, let's begin with the Reichstag Fire. Now, the Reichstag Fire is the first action that occurs when Hitler is now Chancellor of Germany. He was given Chancellor in the deal that we talked about with the coalition. And when he got that power, now he was able to start making motions, start making moves. He was just waiting for the right time. And on February 1933, that time was nigh. That time was now. So the Reichstag, just as a remember, is a Capitol building. It is their White House. It is their parliament. It is their Texas House of Representatives. It is the biggest building. And what ended up happening was, in protest of Hitler being elected Chancellor and the Nazi Party celebrating, a Dutch communist threw a improvised device, threw a explosive device into the building, which caused a chain reaction for it to burn, as you can see here. So the Capitol building is now set aflame. And as it is set aflame, Hitler and the Nazi Party and a lot of other governmental parties run to as soon as news is found out that this building is burning, run to see what they can do to help, to see how they can approach it. And when they get there, they realize there's something they can do, that this is gone. This building is not salvageable. It is too big in flames. But with everyone now there, Hitler starts looking around and noticing, well, if all these other political people are here, let me use this time to do something. So he stands up, or not necessarily, he turns around and loudly starts making a speech about how this is the reason why we need to get rid of the communists in the country. This is the reason why we need to start acting and making our country stronger. Because we have enemies that are trying to take us and attack us and bring us down. And he gives a very, very passionate speech about just how problematic the Communist Party is, just how problematic other groups of people are. And so, using this opportunity, the president says, Chancellor, you're right. You're absolutely right. So let's take a vote tomorrow to discuss what we're going to do. And essentially what Hitler is doing is he has taken this moment, this fire, and manipulated it to have it look like it is an emergency. It is an emergency that is going to potentially bring down the government. And so he has manipulated this fire to enact the weakness of the Reichstag, the weakness of political systems, as we heard in the consolidation, that the president has the right to rule by decree in times of crisis, giving him potential dictatorial powers. So Hitler's little speech, Hitler's call to arms in front of the burning government was specifically to target this legality, was specifically targeted to get the president to start thinking this is an issue. So the next day or two, the president, von Hindenburg, says, yes, this is an emergency. This is a problem. We are going to go ahead and take a vote on we're going to take a vote on whether we need to enable a time of crisis, thus giving us the ability to rule by decree. And they do. Over the next period of a couple weeks, they start talking and discussing and debating and discussing how they're going to do this. And the person leading the charge on this is Hitler. And the specific rule, the specific decree that he is pushing after the Reichstag Fire to gain all of this dictatorial power is called the Enabling Act. So a little under a month after the Reichstag Fire, Hitler submits, him and the Nazi Party submit a act called the Enabling Act. The actual German word is, the German name for it is the Call to Promote and Save Germany. Very passionate. Now, the Enabling Act was essentially the legal way that Hitler can destroy the Weimar Republic. And the only thing it needed to be done was it needed to be put to a vote. It needed to be put on an official vote by the government, by the Reichstag, on whether they're okay with giving all the power to the Chancellor temporarily. And so, this was the result of the vote. The Nazi Party, having the most seats with 288, all voted for it. Von Pappen's party voted against it. The Communist Party was illegal. And all these other parties, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different parties, voted in favor for it. 444 votes for the approval of the Enabling Act. Essentially, just like the scene that we see in Episode 3 of Star Wars, the Enabling Act, which is right here, signed away democracy, signed away the ability for the Weimar government to act on their own accord, and gave essentially everything to the Nazi Party. Gave them all rights to do whatever they feel is the most important thing. So the Enabling Act, and the reason why it's called the Enabling Act in English is because it enabled, it legally destroyed the Weimar government, the Weimar Republic, and allowed the Nazis to fully gain control. This is consolidation. This Enabling Act essentially gave Hitler the ability to look at all these political parties and say, none of you have the right to exist anymore. We're going to remove all the power from you. And the Enabling Act essentially was the death rattle, the nail in the coffin of any chance for the government to not fall to the Nazis. And from this point forward, Hitler and the Nazis have full control. Which is why immediately following the Enabling Act, about 2 or 3 months later, Hitler passes on his own, because he can do this now, what's called the Gleichling Tongue. Now, the Gleichling Tongue, it translates to coordination. Right? How he wants to coordinate the government. But in reality, it's Nazification. And what this means is he is now going to make, as we're going to see here, anyone who's not part of the Nazi Party, you can no longer be a member of it. Brought the parliament to all individuals of the German state under total Nazi control. Which means if you were a member of the parliament, no matter what political party you are, you now belong to the Nazis. If you were any other political party outside of the Nazi Party, the NSDAP, that translates to the Nazi Party, if you were not part of the Nazi Party, you can now no longer exist. You are illegal. If you were a part of a trade union or anything that held any sort of power outside of the government, that is now property of the Nazi Party. The subordinating the legal system meant that every judge, every executioner, every police department, every military official, every security department, right? Like let's say the FBI or the CIA, any governmental office now solely belongs to the Nazi Party. Now, there's no longer German police, it's the Nazi Party's police. There's no longer the Border Patrol, it's the Nazi Border Patrol. Everything they seized. Which then enabled them to start doing the first thing that they wanted to do. The first thing that Hitler preached about in Mein Kampf. And that is the beginning of the process of removing Jews from public office. In order to ensure that he can attack Jews and communists and other minority groups, such as the Romani, such as blacks, such as anyone who wasn't pure Aryan, he had to remove all of these minorities from office. So his first attack starts here in the Gleichling Tongue. And then lastly, in order to make sure that he had the moral, in order he had the superior edge, he coerced, right? Remember, coerced meaning forced, all of the churches to start accepting the Nazi regime. That now, if you were the Catholic Church, you're the Catholic Nazi Church. If you were the Baptist, you were the Nazi Baptist Church. And it helped Hitler control both the state and the church, giving him full and complete power. Now, all of these were dependent on the other. If one didn't happen, then it could not have gotten this far. And the use of legal methods, as mentioned in the introduction video, all of these legal methods are all consolidation of power. This is Hitler removing power from everyone. None of these examples are maintenance of power. These are all consolidation, and I cannot stress that point enough. Because you may be asked that on the exam. So please make sure to take a key note in that.